Welcome to an overview of Professor Bernardi's 176 class. This is going to hold true whether you are in the O3 section on the main campus or the O4 section in Jacksonville. You need to log into Blackboard first, and when you do, normally you're going to see a little cartoon that comes up. That's how you know you're on my main page. And this is, you can do it, you've got this encouragement, because I know a lot of you didn't particularly care to be in an online or a hybrid course. When you look to the left, you're going to see all the tabs that are in this Blackboard shell. First is going to be course overview. Second is policies. Third is the syllabus and calendar. Fourth are PowerPoints. Fifth are video links. Sixth are study guides. Seventh are lab objectives. Eighth is assignments. And 9 is Professor B's bits. One of the first things you're going to do is click on Course Overview. When you do that, you'll see that there is an introductory YouTube video. That's my introduction. Most of my videos are going to be via YouTube because you can record longer, and also it's just easier for people to access than some of the others. You'll go through that video. It's about 2 minutes, and at the very end, it gives you an assignment. To find out what the assignment is, you look on the left-hand side of Blackboard, you click on Assignments, and it will come up that there's a Padlet. A Padlet is where you can post assignments or other things when I tell you to. This is going to come up, and you'll know it has my picture and a 176, either O3 main campus or O4 Jacksonville. You can see it says, hello, so I can associate names with faces. To be considered enrolled, you must post a picture of yourself and 2 to 3 sentences about yourself. You can make it a video, I don't care, but you have to have your picture up there and something about you. To do that, if you haven't used Padlet, you look at the lower right-hand corner and you'll see a little plus sign. You're going to click on that plus sign, and what comes up is something with your name on it. The title is My Introduction, and then you write something about yourself, you take a picture, and you post it. Once you finish that, you're going to go back. You're going to see back to the main page where you'll still be on Padlet. You can click on Policies. It gives you a whole bunch of live links where you can see the student rights and responsibilities, accessibility, student services, online student technical support if you need Blackboard help, the library, and then Center for Academic Success, which is where you can get tutoring if you so require it. The school does have free online tutoring also for summer. One of the most important things that you're going to look at is the syllabus and the calendar tab. You click on that tab, you can see there's the syllabus. I'm not going to read the syllabus to you. That's up to you to go through it, but briefly it's going to tell you the textbook that we have. It's the same one for 176. It's going to tell you about testing. It's going to tell you your responsibilities. One of the main things where people always want to know is go down to evaluations. When you look at evaluations, we're going to go over that more. When we look at the schedule, there are 6 lecture exams. You have to spell correctly. They're given at a specific time. There are 4 lab practicals. There are no makeup for lab practicals. If you miss a lecture exam, you have the option to substitute your final exam score percentage for that missed exam, because I don't give makeups. Now, in the case of justice and equity, if you didn't miss an exam, you get to replace your lowest exam with your final exam score percentage. In the years that I've been teaching at Lincoln Land, I have found that students perform somewhere between 7 and 22% better on the final. So that means you can change your grade an entire level. One thing you have to remember, we have that rule about you have to pass the laboratory with at least a 60% or better. The point values are listed in the syllabus. You have to get 168 points out of 280. It also lists the grading scale, how many points you get for the 6 lecture exams, how many for the lab practicals, how many for quizzes, participation in lab, and then the final exam. It also has the point value cutoffs. I don't go by percentages. I just put those on your exam so that gives you a point of reference. Bottom line, everything comes down to the total points. If you look at the very bottom, then you can see the general course outline. Exam number 1 or block 1 is going to be the endocrine system, the reproductive system, fetal circulation and adaptations. Exam 2 is cardiovascular. Exam 3 is blood and lymph. Exam 4 is the respiratory system. Exam 5 is urinary and fluid and electrolyte balance, and then 6 is the digestive system. Probably the most important thing that you need to do is click on this hybrid schedule. When you get that hybrid schedule document, it will come up. It has my name and email address and Dr. Liberati, who's going to do the lab portion in Jacksonville when we meet in the second part. Everything that you need is on here. It is listed in weeks. There's 8 weeks. Unfortunately, the last week is testing because we have to have the last lab practical and the final exam. So we have to do everything in 7 weeks. I have set this up pretty much like I have set up the summer schedule for the last 9 years. I did that specifically. You can do it however you want, but the tests are set. They don't move days. So it's an attempt to help you get yourself into that rhythm and so that you don't fall behind. So if you look, you can see where it says week number 1 in red, and anywhere it says S is Springfield, J is Jacksonville. Monday, the first lecture I would have given would be review of membranes and movement through membranes, and then hormones. Next, you'll see a number. That's the chapter. Then you'll see PP, which means pages. So it would behoove you to read chapter 18, pages 600 to 619, and that's going to be covered in that first PowerPoint. The second PowerPoint is going to be hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, and parathyroid. If you look, that's chapter 18, pages 619 to 663. Then we talk about the lab, because normally we have lab at least twice during the week in the summer. Block 1 lab is going to be the endocrine system and the reproductive system. We'll go over that when we go through the lab tab. So you can see that the course is set up week by week. There are several lectures during the week. The title of the lecture and the title of the PowerPoint will be given. It will be followed by a number, that's the chapter, and then it will be followed by the page numbers. So if you look, Wednesday of next week or Thursday of next week, you're going to have a 15-minute quiz over the male reproductive tract. It's going to be worth 10 points. It's a fill in the blank. It'll be a diagram from your textbook, and literally it'll say name this, name this, name this, name this. You can go through the whole semester, summer semester that way. If you look, you already have a lab practical on Monday, June the 15th, or Tuesday, June the 16th. Lab practicals are 60 minutes because they're 60 points. You get 1 point per question, and you get 1 minute per question. Then if you look on that same week, on Wednesday, you're going to have your first lecture exam of the endocrine system and reproductive system, but you will have already started the cardiovascular system, so you are going to have lab quiz 2 of the cardiac structure right after that exam. So if you look on Wednesday, June 17th, or Thursday, June 18th, at the beginning of the class, you're going to have a 60-minute lecture exam followed by a 15-minute lab quiz. You can go through the whole semester that way. Again, it's set up week by week. I set it up day 1, day 2, day 3. And I left it Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday because that's when you are going to meet when we have the lab portion. So you need to be very familiar with that. Don't call me once the exam has started and say, you know, I can't make the exam. It's too late at that point. So then you can look, and we go to PowerPoints. When you click on the PowerPoint tab, you will see it come up. Block 1, which is endocrine and reproductive system. If you click on that, you can see it'll be a PowerPoint. It tells you what's in the PowerPoint. Usually the video links are going to be in a different tab. I haven't decided. Sometimes they work better if you put them in a different tab. Another important thing that you need to know are study guides. The study guides are my own. When you click on the study guide tab, you see it says study guide, endo, and reproductive system. That is essentially the questions that I write for the exam. You can see it's delineated into the endocrine system and the reproductive system and fetal development. Anything that is in bold-faced print, like in the first set, questions 9, 12, and 15, those will be lecture questions on the exam, and they will be a lecture question on the final exam. Anything that's in italics, which would be in the first one, questions 5, 14, and 19, might be essay questions. Anything that's just in regular print, it'll be a multiple guess question. So literally, if you can answer the study guide questions, you will do well on the exam, because that is what I use to write the exam. Next, we have lab objectives. When you click on the lab objectives tab, block 1 lab is going to have the objectives and the models of the video. There is a web page there to review tissues. It's very important that you remember those. It tells the laboratory objectives. When you click on that tab, you can see that it's listed out as K is the lab book, or anything that says T is the figures in the textbook. It tells you that you can locate on a model or a diagram the structures that you need to know, how to spell them. Tells you histological sections, and then in later cases, it's going to tell you the different types of exercises that you need to know. Like you'll need to know how to take blood pressure at some point. Then there are videos that Dr. O'Malley made of our models. The assignments we already talked about. Professor B's Bits. Essentially, that's where you can post questions like, please don't put, I don't understand question 5. I have no clue what question 5 is. The correct way to ask a question on Blackboard is, for Block 1 exam, I don't understand question 5, which says, then write out the question, type out the question. Don't just say I don't understand. Tell me what you don't understand. Because if you just type that, I am not going to answer the question for you. If you were face-to-face, what I would do is say, tell me what you know. What is it you don't understand? So your best bet is to say, I don't understand question 5. Write out what the question is. I think that, and then write out what you think. And then I will answer that question. Again, please remember, I only check Blackboard in the morning and in the evening. So don't post a question 5 minutes or half an hour before the exam and expect an answer, because it probably is not going to happen. The other thing is, if you put, I have no clue, all I will do is say, okay, go to the PowerPoint and look at this, or listen to this part of the video again. So that's a brief overview of Blackboard. It's going to be a fun semester, and we'll see you starting tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing your pictures so I can get to know your faces.